third video, I'm back, or third live, I'm back. Let me go ahead and mute myself. So, all right, yeah, third live, I'm back. As I said, my name is Jay Sean. I'm currently teaching myself software development, specifically on the back end side of things. Today, we're actually taking a shift away from that hexagonal architecture project that I was doing, and I just thought it would be nice to do a smaller project. I was feeling a little too lost, so I wanted to do a smaller project, and I ended up having ChatGPT create like a little assignment for me to do. That would pretty much be the only AI that I'll be using for this. I mean, I might have it kind of look over what I'm doing once I'm done, but as far as, generating any code, we're not doing that. Still not doing that. That's never been the case, but we're still not doing that. Without further ado, just gonna jump into it, man. Ain't gonna lie. So, this is my assignment here. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's kind of small. But this is my kind of assignment here. So, invoice generation engine. The goal is to build a pure Java program that creates invoices, adds line items, and calculates totals, and also prints a clean invoice summary. So we're doing this with no Spring, no database, and no AI while coding. We're going to, so let's see, the core requirements. Create a customer. A customer should have an ID, a name, and an email. Great. The rules for those ones are the name cannot be blank, email cannot be blank, and the ID should be generated automatically. So we want to create an invoice. The invoice should have an invoice number. It should be linked to a customer, an invoice date, due date, and line items. Rules for this one: invoice number must be generated automatically. Customer is required. Invoice date is required. Due date must be after the invoice date. Invoice cannot be finalized without line items. See, the third requirement is a line item should have a description, a quantity, and a unit price. So descriptions cannot be blank. The quantity must be greater than 0. Unit price must be greater than 0 as well. And then the line item total should equal the quantity times the unit price. Great. All right, calculating invoice totals. Your invoice should calculate the subtotal, tax, and then the total. So the subtotal is the sum of all line item totals. The tax is the product of the subtotal and tax rates. And then the total is a sum of the subtotal and the tax. Use BigDecimal and not double. Great. And then pick a tax rate. And then the invoices should look something like this. Okay. It also suggests classes. Use these as a guide, not strict rules. A customer class, an invoice class, a line item class, money class, tax calculator, invoice printer, and then a main class. Do not overcomplicate it. Great. Required behaviors to test manually. Your program should reject blank customer names, blank emails, if the due date is before the invoice date, an invoice with no line items, line item with quantity 0, and no line items with negative prices. So your program should correctly handle multiple line items, decimal prices, tax calculation, and then formatted output. Might have to do some research on the formatted outputs. I'm not gonna lie. I get Let's see. Learning targets. This project should help you practice object creation, encapsulation, validation inside constructors, BigDecimal, list of objects, methods that calculate derived values, separating calculation from printing. Interesting. Basic domain modeling. All right, so you can create a customer, you can create an invoice, you can add at least 2 line items. Subtotal, tax, and total are correct. Invalidated throws, clear errors. The invoice prints cleanly to the terminal. Okay. Okay, so I guess the first step would be, let's get rid of this. Throw this over here. Don't really need this over there. Don't really need that up either. Check out my latest 2 videos, please. Let's go here and let's add new repository. Just gonna call it invoice generator, and then I'm gonna use AI. Let me take this. Add a readme, no. Yeah, add a readme later if need be. Just a practice project, so I don't really think I need all of that. Let's go and create a new project. This is another project that I just ended up finishing. It's a scheduling engine. How well can you guys see this? Jesus, that's small. See how well this looks. Maybe this is a little better. Okay. So I ended up creating a scheduling engine. This scheduling engine, basically, it was to take a date, and then, well, I made 3 different versions of it, 2 different versions of it, actually. Basically, instead of it taking an end date here, so let me start from the beginning. You have a start date, you have a recurrence type, which is how often whatever you're generating, whatever schedule you're generating should be generated. And then we had an end date, or have an end date here. So the goal of the whole program is to type in a start date, type in an end date, and then select the recurrence type, and then it should create a list or return a list in the terminal that a list of dates. So that's how that was going. The first version actually did a number of occurrences. So you had you still had the start date, and then you would give the program how many times you wanted it to I guess calculate the recurrence type from the start date. So if I did, what I have here is October 9th, 1999. If I had it 5 times and did it monthly, it would do return a list that goes to November 9th, 1999, then December, and then January 9th, 2000, and so on. So that was just another mini project that I just did based on chat's recommendations. But now we're gonna move on to something else, to this invoice generator. And I played around with this like commit thing here, like through the IDE, through IntelliJ. I don't know. I feel like I need to get more comfortable with the terminal, so I don't really like it. It's a lot easier, but I don't really like it for that reason. We're gonna call this an invoice generator. Keep Java 26 on there, build system. We can keep IntelliJ, and then that location is fine. We can create it in this window. Great. So let's just make a main. For this one, yes. Okay. Let's create the main class, public static, void, main string. Great. And I forgot y'all can't see this. It's huge. It does not need to be that big. Okay, yeah, we're gonna say welcome to the stream. Let's run that. Make sure that works. All right, we're all good. Can I? Oh, I can. Nice. Okay. All right. Welcome to the stream. Great. And then now let's add this GitHub repo. Reinitialized. That is great, ain't it? Not really gonna do a README right now. We could do this one, and then let's do this. And then get commit. And let's push this. Let's see, did it work? Did it work? Of course it did. Great. Okay, so, and I also want to move this to the side. Let's do some rearranging. I did this completely wrong. Playing musical chairs right now. For this one, let's do no. I can't get this right. What do I want to be first? Let's make this first. I mean, let's do Oh my goodness, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? Okay. To get it in the order that I have in my head this is annoying. Okay. Okay. So I want it to be IntelliJ. No. What the hell? Okay, let's do this first, and then IntelliJ, and then chat. Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh my goodness, that was about to take me out, bro. We about to end the stream right there. Okay, so can we? Oh, we can't increase the size. Mute. Okay. All right, so first things first, let's create a customer object. I'm not really gonna worry too much about folder structure, but let's create a customer object. You're gonna ask me this every time. And its fields are an ID. Should I do a UUID? I feel like I'm kind of cheating. Let's see, a UUID or a long. Let's just do a UUID. My fault, y'all. Okay. Let's just do UUID and then ID. Probably need a name. And then so there's no final. Oh, it's just saying that. Okay. Actually, we're gonna update that in the class. So we'll see. We will see. Private string email. Not gonna go too crazy with email validation. Public customer create that whatchamacallit constructor. This dot interesting. And I'm tweaking. So we should be able to make these final. I'm tweaking. I can't spell. I'm about to type in fentanyl. Okay, so name of the game is the name cannot be blank, the email cannot be blank, and the ID should be generated automatically. So let's actually take this out. Well, I didn't really have to do that, but let's take this out. And what is the UUID generator? Okay. And then should it be if name dot is blank, name is not blank, and name is not equal null. Is that redundant? It's always true. Is empty? Is this redundant? It is. Could have sworn that there was a pattern for that. That's what I get for trying to memorize patterns instead of what I should actually be doing. And that there. Should I throw? Let's just throw. Customer name cannot be blank. And then we're gonna do the same thing. If email, actually, instead of doing all of this, that's what I was looking for. Jesus. Okay. We can get rid of this. And then we'll change this to email. My goodness. Email cannot be blank. Okay, so that takes care of the object creation for that. I feel like I would like the customer class to be in charge of itself. So let's only create the getters. Can we do that? I forgot how to do that. I'm not gonna lie. Damn it. I forgot to do that. Good thing. Okay, it's only three. It's only three. Public get ID. Appreciate that. Public get email. Appreciate that. Let's keep it in order. Get name. Okay. And then here, mean, I guess that's the same thing. I'm kind of tweaking. You created through here. What am I thinking? Maybe I'm overthinking this. I'm not gonna lie. Because the idea was to have kind of mixing up what I did with this whole hexagonal architecture thing. Sometimes I feel like I jumped the gun on that. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I started doing these like smaller projects. I guess to kind of build confidence. But because the idea that I had was only have the getters publicly available, and then as far as updating any of the fields, I guess the name and the email in this case would just be a setter. Would really just be a setter, right? Let me check the. Let me look at. No. Where's the rest of my repositories? Okay, so in here we had the core and the model. Okay, so we had a static object and then one for this. So we had a constructor and then we had a static object. And then we had all of the business rules for that object in here. And we only had the getters. So that's what I am thinking of. But really the only thing to do is, I guess we can kind of normalize the name. Right? And that's where I went wrong. If am I tweaking? I gotta be tweaking. No equals null, no dot is blank. No does not equal null, and no is not blank. Whatever. I'm just gonna leave it. I don't know. It has to be an edge case. But I'm gonna leave it and see if I find it later. So we had a static factory method in here. I'm wondering if I even need that. I don't see what the you throw everything in there. Why not? Why not? Public static customer. Let's say create new. This is only gonna take a string of an email, and then the string. Why do I keep doing that first? to create I'm gonna normalize the text, string text, and then that way we could probably get rid of those if statements in there. So if, oh no. There was a formatting thing that I did. Let's just trim it. Because we're already checking that on this one, I'm not gonna lie. So I wonder if I should even do that. Just making things a little bit more complicated. I'm gonna be adding this. Fuck it. Why not? Return text dots trim. Fuck it, for the sake of doing things. What? Oh. Talking about I got a credit. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I just got an email. That's about it. Tweaking. So normalize text. This was gonna be the name. Yep. And then this is gonna be the email. Can I wrap this whole thing? I can. Normalize text. Beautiful. Okay. So this is generated automatically. This cannot be blank, and that cannot be blank. So I guess we knocked out the customer portion of this. Created the customer object, and then I'm gonna push this. Okay, cool. So now we move on to creating an invoice object. Okay. Drop a class invoice. I guess we'll follow it and make it the same way. Start by making it a little bit bigger. Oh god, maybe too big. Pause. Invoice number. That's going to be a UUID as well. Customer, invoice dates, due date, line items. Okay, so private, invoice number. Oh, forgot it. Invoice number, private, final, customer, invoice date, due date. So private, final, local dates, invoice date, and then private, final, local date is the due date, and then amount, line items. You're saying that line item should be a class itself. So maybe we hold off on that. Let's go ahead and make the line item class first. I don't like doing this. Line item should description, quantity, price. The final string description, private. You can't get half of something, so we're gonna make that an int. Make that quantity, and then private, final, BigDecimal, and that's gonna be unit price. Unit price, okay. We'll follow the same thing. I was thinking, I'm like, should I not make a static factory method for this? But fuck it, and let's see what happens. Public line item. This one does not need. So we put string, description, int, quantity, and then BigDecimal unit price. This. Let's go ahead and make that public. What I was trying to spell right there. Normalize text. This is a little redundant. I don't know if this is supposed, if I'm violating dry principles or not, but they're also going to normalize the text within the line item, within their description. So, and I guess this is all that we could really do anyway. But I wanted to just keep the same pattern going, to be honest. If it's wrong, I will update it. It's a small program. I could understand in a bigger one how this would be annoying. This would probably be a headache, but this is what we're doing for this one. I wonder, does it need a description? It does. Okay. let's do if text equals no or is blank. Throw new. Just do a generic runtime exception. Is required. A line item description is required, and then return text.trim. Great. So now the quantity must be more than 0. I'll just put this one in here. If quantity is, let's say, less than or equal to 0. No, let's just say, just do it this way. So this quantity is more than 0. Then we're going to this dot quantity is going to equal quantity, and then I could throw an else, throw new runtime. And then because it's an int, not integer, it cannot be null by default. So I wonder if BigDecimal has the same thing. I don't know. But what is unit price must be greater than 0. Okay. So if how do you do it with this one? Dot no. How you do it? BigDecimal dots value of unit price how do you do this? Okay, let's go here and let's go make sure y'all can see it. Extremes, you know what that means. I don't know if any of y'all tap into the finals. I don't know. The NBA finals this year. It's not really the most exciting thing, but it's gonna go up in New York if the Knicks get a sweep. Like, it's already going up in New York. So if they sweep them, I'm telling you, if you live in New York, man, do not step outside, bro, unless you with all the bullshit. What was I looking at? How to compare BigDecimal. Oh, I found it. I had it right here. Compared to. Okay, so compared to. So it's not this at all, actually. So it's unit price dot compared to BigDecimal 0. And we need it to be greater than or equal to. Bro, is this not? Did it not? My fault. Check it for equality. Checking if less than. Also, if it's less than 0, greater than 0, greater than 2.0. Okay. So this dot price equals price. Can it not be final? Why is that still? Oh, okay. Quantity must be greater. Oh, not quantity, but unit price. The hell am I doing? Must be greater than. Make that match. Okay. So we have that. Let's throw some getters in there. Public string. Right? Am I tweaking? Yeah, description. Return description. And then public int get quantity. Return quantity. Public BigDecimal. Enterprise. Okay. Okay, so now so now Let's see what else this says. Let's see, greater. Okay. Calculate. So a new total or a new method. Calculate line item total. So let's make that here. Public BigDecimal. Total. And that is gonna be quantity times the unit price. So int quantity BigDecimal unit price, and this is just gonna return price dot multiply BigDecimal dot value of quantity dot should be precision. Remove points. Left 2. I see precision. I saw precision. Let's see. Using BigDecimal to work with money in Java. Let's practice. However, misusing BigDecimal still prevent bugs, memory links. Always use string constructor. So should this be a 2-string? Is that possible? That's not a thing. Okay. It's not a thing. Okay, so rounded mode, value comparisons, architectural encapsulation. Oh my goodness. Holy light mode. Why? Oh fuck. My eyes, bro. Hold on. Where's the settings? Please. And why isn't this already? Brother, how do you work Stack Overflow? My God. Okay. Hold on. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let me put my damn shades on because this is crazy. I'm just trying to see if that's big enough. Okay. All right, great. Not the trivial problem. Animal half even. It's ugly and error prone. Yeah. T say you're gonna get tracking sense problem starts before to occur before trillions of dollars. What are we talking about? I don't even know what we're talking about right here. Okay. Because in a minute, I'm about to go look at something else. Money, not enough. Joda money. What the hell is Joda money? Okay. Let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, we back. We back. That was quick. Told you it's gonna be quick. Whoever Peter Steedman is, I don't know what a Joda money is. What Joda money is? Oh, that's what he has. This API. Looks like. Separate library will probably never be added to Java as the standard edition, and who maintains it is not clear. Oh, okay, so let's just not do that. Let's actually go to another repo. Yeah, let's actually go to another repo because I was handling money before. Is that in a service though? It's probably in a service. Was probably in the service. Not this one though. Price and service. Let's go here. We did Where's money? Where's money? Money, 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 money. Money. Where's this? Set scale 2, rounded mode half up. Scale 2, rounded mode half up. Okay. It say something about having a money class. It did, but I don't think I need a money class though. Yeah, I don't think I need a money class. Money class would be a little bit much. So calculate total. Cool. And then I was gonna do that static factory just to be consistent. Line item create new. This one is gonna call it string description. So this is a lot of encapsulation, right? Okay, and I think that's everything for a line item. Must be greater than 0. Must be greater than 0, cannot be blank. I think that's everything for the line item. So we got the little class here. Okay, and so now with this, I just need to figure out how to unadd. Remove a file from add. Remove a specific file. Unstaged, that's the word I was looking for. Okay, so get restore dash stage file name. So get restore. Can I see this? Not what I meant to do. Let's clear this. Restore dash stage. Do I just put invoice? No. How do I? How do I reference the file? I guess I can do do them all at the same time since it's just the one, but I want to know, just say file. Let's see if I do source. Okay, so let's do get restore dash stage. Oh, maybe I put stage. Okay, fuck. It did say invoice was not found. So get restore dash stage. Let's do src. Okay. Okay, so get add src dash line item Java. And now this should be okay. So now get commit dash m, and this is gonna be this is gonna be I don't know. Created line item object. Alright, let's push that. I feel like it's a cheat code for them, like green checkboxes on GitHub. These, I guess, baby commits. Push dash u. Okay, and so now we can go to invoice and private final line item. That's going to be auto-generated. It's going to put the customer. Then we're going to do invoice dates. Then we're going to do due dates. And then we're going to do the line item. There could be multiple line items, so we need to make this a list. That's how you generate it. That's the command. Okay. Well, noted. Noted. Okay. So we did. So now it's generated automatically. Yes. This dot invoice number equals ID dot random, and then customer is required, invoice date is required. So if the customer doesn't equal null, then we're going to set the customer, and then if it does, we're just gonna throw new, just keep it at the runtime. Customer okay, and then let's do invoice dates is not equal null. We're going to set this dot invoice date is going to be equal to invoice date, and else we're going to throw a new time exception. I wonder if it may be better to not throw these exceptions and just kind of keep the program running. But fuck it. Everything is but fuck it. So let's see. Where was I at? I just lost my train of thought. And invoice must have invoice dates. Okay. We can have some more detail. I was gonna combine both of these due date checks, but let's have a more detailed one. So if due date does not equal null, or I might want to do it backwards with this one. No, if due date doesn't equal null, we want to check if due date I'm thinking about this right. But I think that's pretty intuitive. Like if we don't give a due date and I just give a error message saying the due date must be before or after the invoice dates, that can get grouped if you don't provide a due date. I'm kind of backtracking on what I said. So, okay. So yeah, we're just gonna do that. So if due date is not null and due dates is after invoice dates, and we're going to this dot due date is going to equal due date, else it's going to be throw new one time, and we can say due date must be after the invoice date. But what if it's net zero? I don't like that. If due date does not equal null, and due date. Is equal to invoice date. It doesn't work like that. But if I'm explicitly checking that, okay, so method invocation is equal may produce null pointer exception. And then the option is to replace it with objects that require non-null due date. But why wouldn't I have to do that? For the other due date check, like the is after check. And then also, I'm checking for that don't even make sense. Maybe it's the timing of it. So let's do it like this. Let's do this. And then if this is looking a little ugly. I probably could clean this up a little bit, but I don't know. Let's see. Nice. Oh God. Damn it. Must be on or after. And then due date must be provided. Okay. So that's the constructor. Jeez. Yeah, then we're gonna need that calculate total. So let's make the, I forgot to make the other one static. Didn't I? I did. I definitely definitely did. Okay, so customer. What am I missing? Oh. I'm like, what am I missing? Did not know that was a shortcut. That's cool. Okay, so local date, invoice date, and then dates, due dates. I forgot the line items. Was line item? I forgot the line items. What type of line items should already be? Line items should already be, whatchamacallit, the hell? New invoice. So it'll be with the customer. Invoice date, due date, and line items. Okay. Now should just pass in the line items. Invoice cannot be finalized without line items. Okay, so I needed to put that there, so I need to check for this. That is empty. No. So do we just move this around? Okay, so otherwise we're gonna throw periods going. Okay. So where is it saying to calculate the total? It's the line item total. Yeah, invoice should calculate the totals. I don't think we need this to be private, static, final. Do we need it to be? Tax rate equals. I think calling it from a non-static context. I don't think I need static. Okay, so calculate total, and that's gonna be sum of all line totals. So calculate subtotal. Let's do that, subtotal. And then this is going to be line items dot string always suck with this reduce. Okay. I guess that means I need some practice. What the hell? See if you guys can see this. Okay, so this is reduction. This is not redo. Oh, here we go. The string reduce method is a general purpose reduction operation. Consider the following pipeline, which calculates the sum of the male members' ages in the collection roster. I use a stream.sum reduction operator. Oh. Oh, so I can just do a sum? A map. Get unit price. Can I do? Damn, I can't do that. Damn, that would have been hard. Okay. That would have been cool. Okay. So if I do item, item, and we can do item dots. No. Item dot get unit price dots multiply BigDecimal value of quantity item dot get quantity what's up with this? It says it maps all of them, so then I can do a dots. No, because and I can't do a dot sum. Rename the reference. Yeah. How would you do this? Hmm. Let's see. Okay. This is wrong. Make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. Damn, how do I do this? So I need to, for each line item, I need to calculate the quantity times the unit price. I need to calculate the quantity times the unit price. Thought I would be able to do that in a map. Do I need to collect it? No. That lets me get one. Can I just double map it? And then the reduce fee. Okay, so maybe get rid of all this. And then this be line item get unit price. And then this be another map. Line item get quantity. I can't do that. Required type function. I gave it a method rec. Yeah, it's not fucking with that. Okay. Okay. No. calculate the product of two items in an object, and then get the sum of each product. And get the sum of that operation. Let's see. Sufficient solution, higher object structure. Oh, this thing is gonna give me the exact code. Dude, I hate the reduce. I don't understand. I hate reduce. Okay. First, to understand the foundation concepts. What is a stream? Yes. Creating streams from arrays, from generators, stream operations. Yes. Filter, map. Sorted. Okay, the mechanics of the reduce method. The reduce method in Java's Stream API is one of the most powerful and flexible operations available for processing streams. It allows you to take a stream of elements and combine them into a single result, making it particularly useful for tasks like summing numbers, concatenating strings, or finding the maximum or minimum values in a collection. Oh, did the stream crash? Am I back? Oh no, I thought the stream crashed. We're good. Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger. Let's see. Understand the purpose of stream. Primary purpose of the reduce method is to take a sequence of elements and reduce them into a single value by repeatedly applying a binary operation. This binary operation, known as the accumulator function, combines two elements at the same time until the entire stream has been so. Would it be right? Be right to do reduce item 1, item 2, item. I can't. So can I do, let's just do item 1 and item 2, and then Let's just do AB. Makes it easier. AB, A dot get unit price, and then B dot get quantity, and then we need this to be that. And what is wrong with this? Oh. Dot multiply BigDecimal value of quantity, the fuck, of B dot get quantity, and that doesn't work. Lambda expression could not be returned, cannot be converted to line item. I'm gonna need help with this one. I don't understand this one. Calculate your subtotal using JavaScript, so you need to adjust your approach because the reduce method expects to work with the same data type throughout the process. Got it. And standard strings do not have a sum method at the very end. The most straightforward way to solve this is to use a map before reduce. Instead of reducing the list of line item objects directly, you first transform each item into its calculated total price. Then add those two values together. Here's the corrected code and a breakdown of why it works. So this one, transform each line into its total price. And then sum all the BigDecimal totals together, starting at 0. Wow. Okay, type mismatch and reduce. Your original reduction and it tries to treat A and B as two different things. Java's single argument reduce expects both inputs and outputs, and the output to be the same exact type. You cannot multiply a price by a quantity and return a line item. That's not what I was trying to do. The sum method in Java, sum only exists on specialized primitive streams like int stream, long stream, or double stream. It does not exist on a standard object stream. So map, this loops through your line item list and executes your math formula on each individual item. It changes your stream from a stream of complex objects into a clean stream of dollar amounts. BigDecimal 0. This is your starting point, the identity. If your shopping cart or invoice is empty, the stream safely returns 0 instead of crashing or throwing an error. This is a method reference shortcut for total next amount, total.add next amount. Tells the stream to take your starting 0, add the first item's price, take that new total, add the next item's price. I see. So this would be dot map. So I was closer with like the first time. Item dot get unit price dot multiply big decimal value of item dot get quantity, and then decimal 0 big decimal add. And then can I put, can I put dot set scale to, okay. That's to calculate the subtotal. And then public big decimal tax rate. Okay, so this is return subtotal dot multiply big decimal dot value of tax rates set scale to. I probably should have created that money function. It just wrapped all of these in money. Yeah, okay. And then calculate total. Public big decimal calculate total, and this would do these should be static methods. I wonder. I feel like they should be static methods. Line items, big decimals, total. Yeah, subtotal. And then let's I'm doing this completely wrong. Yeah, get the subtotal. Get the line, get the subtotal, get the tax. That's all we care about. Subtotal and tax. Subtotal dot add tax. Okay. And then how do we, yes. All of them, yes. Besides, we need the tax rate? I don't think we need that one. Okay. Okay, so we created the customer, the line item, and the invoice. Shit took me 2 hours. I am going to call it. Ain't gonna lie. I'll come back. We'll work on step 5, which is printing the invoice. And then testing it out, basically. I know we had to do that format in here. And I think too, yeah, I'm thinking that some of these methods on the invoice class should be static. And I think I also need to go and make these factory methods static as well. If I probably did it for customer, but didn't do it for, yeah, I just left it off of line item. Just left it off of line item. So, okay. So, it's gonna be a record. I guess it could. It's not really too much going on with it. But, okay, so, yeah. So that's where I'm gonna leave off for today. It was a pleasure. I'll be back.